Hello again. I'm David Summers, and here's lesson 6 of Pros and Cons, Show, Don't Tell. English teachers love to repeat the rule, show, don't tell, to their students. The reader needs to be able to visualize what you're writing, they say. But many of these same teachers violate their own rule. They often fail to show students how to apply this important technique. So today, we're going to look at effective uses of show, don't tell, and examples of what not to do. First, we'll compare a brilliant passage from Vladimir Nabokov's classic novel, Lolita, to a passage from Dan Freedman's young adult novel, Final Whistle. Is it fair to compare Nabokov's controversial masterpiece to Freedman's Final Whistle? No. First, Final Whistle. I couldn't breathe for a moment. She was 30 and a world-famous American model, and I was 19 and a hopeful professional footballer. We were worlds apart. I sat transfixed as I watched her come down the stairs. I had never seen anything so liquid, so feline, so wonderful. Okay, I may come back to this passage for an episode on clumsy exposition, but let's focus on the task at hand. Now, the narrator has little faith in the reader's imagination here. He tells us he couldn't breathe. He tells us he was transfixed. He even tells us, quote, we were worlds apart. Why not let us figure that out? If he instead chose to illustrate what the model looks like walking down the stairs, maybe we could be transfixed too. By using the first person I 5 times here, the narrator creates distance between the reader and the action. As readers, we're worlds apart from this scene here. We have no work to do. And because we have no work to do, there's no payoff. Now let's look at the similar scene from Lolita. There came from the upper landing the contralto voice of Mrs. Hayes, who leaning over the banisters inquired melodiously, "Is that Monsieur Humbert?" A bit of cigarette ash dropped from there in addition. Presently the lady herself, sandals, maroon slacks, yellow silk blouse, squarish face in that order, came down the steps, her index finger still tapping upon her cigarette. We're at eye level with the narrator here. We're watching Mrs. Hayes descend. With every step she takes, Mrs. Hayes gradually appears to us, from her sandals all the way up to her squarish face. Now, the narrator doesn't use the first person once in this passage. As readers, we're not outsiders. We're sizing her up along with the narrator. We're complicit. But to earn that payoff, the narrator requires a lot from us. From her sing-songy use of the French monsieur to her clumsiness with the cigarette, we're supposed to gather that she awkwardly attempts to appear sophisticated. The narrator never explicitly tells us he's at the bottom of the stairs watching her, or that she's self-conscious and conventional. That's all on us. Now, I know what you're thinking. We buy that Vladimir Nabokov has mastered the technique of show, don't tell, and that's great for him, but where does that leave the rest of us? All right, fair enough. Now I'll show you how one of my former students revised her college essay using this technique. Here's an excerpt from Zoe's first draft. The race was about to start, and I knew how important it was for me to do well. I was incredibly nervous and on edge. In this example, Zoe names her emotions for us, and as a result, we don't experience them with her. She tells us the race is important. We just have to take her word for it. Plus, she narrates everything in the past tense, which further distances us from the action. Here's her revision. 30 seconds till your race, shouts the official. I'm sweating profusely. I can feel my heart beating, and I instantly regret the small amount of pasta I had before the race. Here Zoe takes us to the race. We hear the official shouting that the race is about to start, and we feel the sense of urgency. Zoe doesn't declare that it's an important race. That's for us to figure out. And instead of telling us she's nervous, she describes in detail her discomfort and what's going through her head. As a result, we can picture and even experience her anxiety along with her. Much better. As always, thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments section. Like and subscribe for more content.